movement art and left with 70,000 immortal stones remaining. Liu Bude personally escorted me out, and before we parted, he even reminded me to come find him again next time. After leaving Jubaozhai, I quickly ducked into a corner and decisively brought out my 4th grade supreme rank flying boat. I jumped onto it and sped away. Once I had put enough distance between myself and Jubaozhai and reached a sparsely populated area, I activated a formation on the flying boat and carefully checked everything around me. Only after confirming that no one was following did I put away the boat, take off my mask, and resume flying normally. Now I had a proper cultivation method and a movement art. Next on the list was cultivation, building beast source, and then figuring out how to become an immortal alchemist and an immortal formation master. So I flew toward the Alchemist Guild and the Formation Master Guild of Panlong City. At both places, I bought some beginner-level books. I wanted to try becoming an immortal-grade alchemist. Buying immortal herbs just to burn them was a bit wasteful. But if I became an alchemist, then I could refine pills for cultivation and also burn life-filled immortal herbs to obtain large amounts of beast source. That was by far the safest path, and it solved 2 problems at once. After handling my own business, I still didn't return to the Royal Mountain immediately. Instead, I flew in another direction. I was going to see Jiang Wei. First, I needed to make sure the guy was still alive. And if he was, then just like before, I needed to make use of that absurd, heaven-defying luck of his. I just didn't know whether his weird fortune in the immortal realm would work the same way it had in the mortal world. When we were younger, I had noticed something strange. Whenever I gave Jiang Wei something, it seemed to trigger his luck and make my own luck better too. After that, obtaining other things would become much easier for me, and sometimes the gains would even double. Whenever my luck was bad, I would give Jiang Wei a little something, or just stay around him for a while, and my fortune would clearly improve. And now that the immortal realm was full of danger, I needed luck even more. To me, Jiang Wei wasn't just a good brother. Sometimes, he was practically a lucky divine beast in human form. Half an hour later, I arrived at the gate of the Lin family. Back when we were first brought up from the mortal world, I had carefully observed the immortals leading everyone, ages. One had a token at their waist with different characters on. The immortals who took Jiang Wei had tokens from the Lin family. At that moment, several gate guards with Xinghui realm cultivation were standing outside the Lin family entrance. Not a single one of them was someone I could afford to provoke. So I deliberately made my authorization token clearly visible and respectfully said, "Seniors, I have just ascended from the mortal world and am currently staying with the royal family. My brother is in the Lin family. His name is Jiang Wei. I ask that you please inform him and allow him to come out to see me." As I spoke, I also slipped 2 immortal stones to the guard in front of me. From Xu Qingying's information, I knew that the 5 great families had both cooperation and competition between them, and the Huang family and Lin family happened to be on cooperative terms. Otherwise, I really wouldn't have dared to come here so casually. The guard looked at me in surprise, then smiled slightly and said, "Kid, you know how things work. Fine, wait here." Then he took out a palm-sized gold and silver jade communication slip, poured immortal energy into it, and spoke into it. "Laoba, someone at the gate wants to see the authorized retainer Jiang Wei. Have him come quickly." I stared at that jade slip in fascination. This thing could contact people from a distance? So basically, a magical phone. Once the guard put the jade slip away, I immediately thanked him. He waved it off and told me to wait where I was. After 1 stick of incense, Jiang Wei flew over to the gate. The moment he saw me, he got unbelievably excited. He quickly bowed toward the guards and then rushed over to me, throwing his arms around me in a bear hug. I had no interest in standing there chatting, so I silently took him away with me to a quieter place. The instant we were alone, Jiang Wei asked excitedly, "Brother Lin Wei, how did you know I was in the Lin family?" Then he immediately asked, "By the way, did you eat that immortal pill? There was goo poison inside it." "I didn't," I replied. "Did you?" I glanced at his cultivation. Given that he had only half a day of life left back then, there was no way he would have had the luxury to hesitate. Of course, he would choose to become an immortal first and worry later. Jiang Wei smiled bitterly and nodded. "I knew you wouldn't casually eat a pill given by someone else," he said. "But how did you manage to break through and become an immortal in such a short time?" I cut that off immediately. "Forget that for now," I said. "Things are already like this. We need to figure out how to stay alive. I have some things to give you." I made copies of some 5th grade cultivation and movement methods. As I spoke, I handed him a replication formation containing them. Jiang Wei's eyes flew wide open. He stared at me in total shock and said, "Brother Lin Wei, what did you just say? 5th grade immortal cultivation and movement methods?" Even as he said it, he looked like he doubted his own ears. But I stayed serious and told him, "Remember this, never cultivate the methods they gave you ever again, and you must hide these methods properly. No one can be allowed to see them." Jiang Wei nodded repeatedly, his eyes full of gratitude. "I understand," he said. "Brother Lin Wei, this is way too valuable. I really don't even know how to thank you." I smiled and shook my head. "Between us, what's there to be polite about? I said. At the same time, I was thinking very clearly. Just accept it. That alone is already the best thanks you can give me. I need to make proper use of your absurd luck. Then Zhang Wei said, with the goo poison inside me, the only way I can survive is by cultivating hard. But I also found out one slightly better piece of news. If I can break through to Yuexiao Realm, I can officially join the Lin family and get the antidote. And I got lucky this time too. The treasure I exchanged for was a supreme third-grade magic treasure, so they gave me 5 times more immortal stones than everyone else. I got a full 50. As he spoke, Zhang Wei took out a small storage bag and pushed it toward me, saying generously, Brother Lin Wei, take these 25 immortal stones. I looked at him with some surprise. His luck really was still just as ridiculous as ever. But instead of taking what he offered, I pulled out a storage bag I had prepared in advance and pushed it into his hands. I've recently gotten even more immortal stones, I told him. Take these instead. But remember this. The only way to break this deadlock is to cultivate hard and break through as fast as possible. Zhang Wei blinked. You got more immortal stones than me? He asked. Then he opened the storage bag I gave him and froze. There were 20,000 immortal stones inside. He was so shocked he started stammering. Brother Lin Wei, there that many immortal stones? How did you get them? Not long ago, Zhang Wei had thought receiving 50 immortal stones was already insanely lucky, and he had even planned to split half with me. Instead,